Hi, I'm John Hope Bryant, founder, chairman, and chief executive officer of Operation Hope. And I'm deeply honored to be returning to a place I call home. The whole Nordic region is a place I absolutely love, but I particularly love Norway, and I particularly love Sweden. I'm coming back to Sweden to give a speech. I'll be there with Gonzalosa Moten and my friend Bo Nilsson and Howard Housen and all of my friends in the region. My friend, the Crown Prince of Norway, Haakon, is there in spirit. He won't be able to be there in person, but we co-chair Global Dignity together, along with another friend from Finland, Professor Pekka Himanen, which is the youngest recipient of a PhD in Finland's history. My point is this: we're all in this together. We're all family. We're all brothers and sisters. We all come from the same place. We all share the same dream, which is a roof over our heads, food on our tables, peace and stability in our lives, something to dream about, something to aspire for, something to believe in that's larger and more important than ourselves, which brings me to this great event. I want to thank the royal family in Sweden. I want to thank the princess. I want to thank Bo in particular. We're all family, and we all share this dream of a world better. This foundation is actually doing meaningful work to make the world better in Africa. Not in Sweden, where I'm sure there are needs as well, but there are resources in Sweden. Oftentimes there's not resources in places like Africa, not the intellectual capital, not the thought leadership, not the literal resources to make these things happen that need to happen, not the leadership. This foundation is doing all of those things. This organization and this fundraiser seeks to raise capital and collect intellectual leadership and provide thought leadership and then action, because PhDs are good, but PhDs are better, to provide real solutions in this place I love, that we all share a common bond with, called Africa. And so, what's my message? Today, the problem in the world is the lack of jobs. Today, the problem in the world is an inability to have dignity, to be able to take care of your family. Or as they say in South Africa, Ubuntu, I am me, because you are you. Once again, we're all in this together. And so while it's important to feed the hungry and clothe the naked and to heal the sick and make sure there's people putting a roof over their heads, and I commend all of that work, we also have to strive a little further to teach a man a fish and not just give him one. We have to strive a little further to create the opportunity to create jobs and not just get a job. I mean, that's the beauty of places like Sweden. They've created entrepreneurs. Cell phone companies from this region are now changing the world. Thought leadership from this region are now creating GDP and economic opportunity. You're able to sit where you are now in relative comfort because you have a gainful employment. You have been able to build wealth and sustain yourself, so you're not struggling every day just to make ends meet. So I think that entrepreneurs have changed the world. I am an entrepreneur. I was an entrepreneur before I was a philanthropist, before I ran a nonprofit. Or to put it in another way, my friend, or not my friend, he's a colleague. I don't want to take that liberty. Desmond Tutu's a friend. But Shimon Peres is somebody I met and I respect. And he said this: even if you want to distribute money like a socialist, you got to first collect money like a capitalist. Even if you want to distribute money like a socialist, you got to first collect money like a capitalist. My point is that you got to create the wealth before you can give it away. We got to create entrepreneurs in the developed world and the developing world. We've got to spur, for the first time in a long time, the developed world and developing world needs the same thing. Entrepreneurs, small business owners, people who create jobs. All job growth in this country, America, is created in years 3 through year 7 by small business entrepreneurs, small business owners that really employ. Half of this country is 100 employees or less. 70% of the employment in this country, America, is 500 employees or less. And all of that job growth that you hear about all around the world, the $17 trillion in GDP here in America, a quarter of the world's GDP, comes from small business owners, entrepreneurs, and shoot-ups and startups in years 3 through year 7. And every big business was once a small one. Goldman Sachs was a guy named Goldman and a guy named Sachs. Walmart was a guy named Sam Walton with a pickup truck and a storefront. And if you think about all the brands that surround you today, all of the businesses that even in Africa are dominating, they all started as somebody's idea. Either somebody's idea or it came from government, which was somebody's idea. So we can make a change. We can move from civil rights to civil rights, from issues that are really messy of race and the color line, the issues that are actually easier to solve of class and poverty, issues that are fought in the streets of civil rights can now be addressed in the suites with civil rights, which means you and what you have to offer is even more valuable today than it was yesterday. Ladies and gentlemen, we're sitting in a moment in history right now, but history never feels historic when you're sitting in it. It just feels like another day. So let's get to work. Let's lean our shoulders against the wheel. Let's be part of the solution. Let's support this organization. Let's everyone reach one and teach one. And I'll see you in Sweden.